Well, if you are an investor in the equity markets, this name needs no introduction. CDSL. Guess what? They're coming out with an IPO, and the management joins us on IPO Adda to talk about why is it that the IPO makes itself an attractive proposition for anybody who wants to invest. Let me introduce them. Mr. P.S. Reddy, Managing Director and CEO, and Mr. Bharat, Sheth, the CFO of the company, join us on IPO Adda with Sajid and Shraddha as well. Thanks so much, gentlemen, for joining in.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Reddy, simple question. I mean, for the uninitiated, would you just care to tell us what does CDSL do and why is it that it promises such a strong growth proposition?
Well, we are one of the two depositories in this business, and we have been promoted by Bombay Stock Exchange and other banks, and which are PSUs as well as the private banks, and we have been having about 45% market share in terms of demat accounts, and the incremental growth in this demat accounts is almost all 60% market share we have it. So that being the reason, I think this makes a good sale.
So remember, viewers, that the management is, or the company is not getting any money out of this IPO. It's an offer for sale. They have no debt. So a lot of people who think that IPO is coming in and people will use the money to deleverage, that is also not happening. So the money is not coming to the company. The growth prospects remain as they have been. Mr. Reddy, tell us about what the company's done in terms of growth for the last, say, 5 years or 7 years, as far as your memory can, permit you, and what is the likely outlook going to be?
Well, the existing lines of business, that is the depository business, has been doing exceedingly well. We are happy about that. And the second one is the KYC business, which we have been doing since 2008, is a roaring success. In fact, we started with the mutual fund industry, the KYC business, and SEBI found that it's a wonderful idea to have it for the rest of the capital market. That's a single KYC. So in 2011, and they extended it to the rest of the capital market. And so today we have about 60-65% market share in this KYCs. So we have 1.6 crore fully digitized KYCs, and that still added about 17 crores to the bottom line in the FY17, about 25 crores to the top line. And apart from these businesses, recently we have launched what we call a National Academic Depository Platform. It's a Government of India initiative. Of course, both depositories are in this space, and it's not yet formally launched by the government, but then awareness campaign to the universities has been launched, and we are a major player in that area as well. The other initiatives that we have been doing is the GST, that is the GST Suvidha Provider is another license that we have been given, and of course we have proposed to shift it to our wholly owned subsidiary. We are in the process of doing that, and that's another area which we look at as a growth area. The third one is CDSL'S, again, has been shortlisted as a commodity warehouse repository. Again, two players are there. CDSL is one, and that's another growth prospects that we look at in that business as well. And the fifth one that we look at is the single demat account for all financial assets, which was announced by the finance minister in 14-15 budget. It has not been implemented. If it is implemented, in the same demat account, you can have insurance policies, fixed deposits,
all financial products in the one roof.
All can be had, but that's not implemented as yet because the regulators have to come together and figure out as to how to go ahead doing this.
As and when that happens, will it impact your?
It will substantially. Well, we are in a highly regulated business.
That's right.
Okay, so it will definitely increase the revenues. By how much I will not be able to quantify. But the number of demat accounts will definitely increase, and it's going to have a positive impact.
Mr. Reddy, CDSL of course is the leading securities deposit when it comes to the incremental growth of beneficiary accounts. I just want to try to understand, when does CDSL become number one when it comes to the market share? I'm just trying to understand the growth dynamics even between the two players in this industry.
Yeah, if you see the number of depository participants that CDSL has, is almost about 589 okay, as against about 260 plus depository participants. That's one number which makes a substantial difference in the incremental growth for the CDSL. Second, most of these are stockbroker DPs, okay, and when the markets are booming, and these stockbroker DPs add more number of accounts than the other DPs like bank DPs or the custodians or NBFCs, etc. So that's what has contributed to us substantial growth in incremental demat accounts.
All right.
Mr. Sheth, maybe take a question there. Mr. Sheth, numbers, how do they stack up? How do they look like moving ahead over the next 3 or 4 years? Don't give us exact numbers, but do you think it's possible for the company to maintain or better the growth rates that you've done in the last 3 years?
See, if my past is good, past was good, present is best, then it must be a best one, better one, as such.
But can you explain the other income part, because you've been getting around 35 to 40 crores every year to other income. Will that be a constant revenue base coming from the balance sheet?
See, that is other income I am getting from mutual fund investment, tax-free bonds, fixed deposit, that I am getting. See, we are having around 525 crores case line with us. That is of the requirements, net worth requirements of 250 crores we have to maintain for all the companies. CDSL 100 crores, then CVL 30 crores, CRL 30 crores, CCRL 50 crores, 25 crores deposit we are getting from depository participants. So we have to maintain 250 crores. And recently we bought one property, our own property. There we have spent around 65 crores for the 10 crores for the furniture.
So the dividend, income from investments will continue to come as we go forward there. What about the dividend policy? I mean, you've been a good dividend payer for all your sponsors and promoters. Will you continue with the same kind of dividend going forward?
If you see last 4 years, on an average 60% payout ratio is there. So our endeavor is to continue with the same policy.
Mr. Reddy, if you could share with us plans with respect to the new offerings, if you're looking to enter into any new markets, and also how you plan to scale up all these new offerings that you have come out with in the last 2-3 years.
Well, you see, the National Academic Depository, with that itself, where our hands are full. It's there about 900 all universities or academic institutions are there, and we need to roll out fast. It's government's intent that in the academic year 17-18 it becomes fully operational. And the second one, as I said, that the commodity repository is another one which is a very important infrastructure in the commodity space, and GSP is another third one. I think if once we put them in place, I'm sure that will take us to the expected heights.
What about the challenges with respect to pricing? Because in the entire market, what we talk about is transaction cost has been a big issue for the market, and every participant talks about it, including all charges which are there. How sticky are those charges, and do you see those charges coming down going forward, and will that have an impact in?
See, there are two major sources of revenue for the depositories. One is the annual issuer charges as fixed by SEBI from time to time. SEBI introduced these annual issuer charges sometime in 2004, revised upwards in 2009, and again in 2015. So that's a more or less a stable stream of income that I get. And about 51 crores is what in FY 17 we got from the annual issuer charges. The other one is the transaction based income, which is per debit instruction. On an average we are getting about 5 rupees. Now that is by and large sticky, it doesn't change. So it cannot go down because there is no price elasticity in terms of if you reduce it, then obviously your accounts do not go up.
No, I'm saying that
that's
because your sponsor has been very aggressive on the pricing front when it comes to trades on the platform. Will it have an impact on you as well to reduce charges as a whole?
No, I don't think it will have any impact. It has nothing to do with that. In fact, we cater to all the exchanges, and we have nothing to do with the exchange business as such. If the cash volumes are high, delivery based volumes are high, the depositors make money.
No, I think what Reddy was trying to say is that since every other participant is looking to reduce costs for the investors, would you probably will do or have to do the same?
I don't think we will do that.
Okay.
We will do that. We will not.
Because it's a two-player market, it
No,
will be, is it?
that's not the case. In fact, when we started it, it was almost 15 rupees. We went down, and today it is just 5 rupees, and you may not even get a cup of tea for 5 rupees. And what more you expect?
That's true. Okay, just a couple of numbers, Mr. Sheth, if you can, or Mr. Reddy. Your return ratios have been fabulous. Do you think those can be maintained? 2, I think if I look at the last 3 years, your EBITDA margins have expanded quite a bit. I think northwards of 50, 54, 55%. Is it a safe assumption that you will be able to maintain or better those margins?
We'll maintain those margins.
You will maintain those margins for the foreseeable future.
That's right.
Which would mean another 3-4 years you don't see any
That's right.
danger there.
That's right.
Return ratios would be maintained as well.
That's right.
You don't see any danger to
We don't
ROC,
see
ROE
any.
getting diluted
Yes,
at all.
we don't.
Okay.
18 times, I think, FY17 PE, right? And if you look at the same kind of growth which is happening, 15 and a half is what is what we're looking for FY18. Do you think you priced the issue a little lower?
See,
It's good to leave money on the table.
you're right. Absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I don't think it's priced lower, and it's priced just right. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, I think investors would be happy. Shraddha, any other questions? Great, Sajid. No, I think you answered all the questions that probably investors would want to know. All the very best for a
you
very
so much.
successful IPO, and we look
Thank
forward
you.
to talk to you on the day of the listing and probably in the future earnings as well.
Thank you so
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you so
time.
much. All the best.
Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to Bloomberg Quint.